way the Galio, the masterstroke of the draft was drafting Galio over Zac because we know that Kuro would have taken the Galio.
Oh, that's what he wanted, yeah.
And they got both, so it went better than expected. And two of those picks are now banned as Jarvan and Galio are not going to be in this game.
Yeah, so no Cataclysmic entrance to come down. The Rumble going to be banned all 3 games.
And now it's going to be a very different list of picks available given how many adaptation bans are being made. Syndra going to be banned on blue side. Kuro has played it recently but isn't a noted player of the Syndra, so a lot available in this particular game. The jungle pool is at full health already, and do the ROX Tigers just say, hey, you want to play Zac?
Yeah, Zac, Thresh, Elise.
You can just ban Elise here.
Picks.
I think banning Elise and hoping for Zac is what the Tigers might do, which kind of sounds insane, but after game 2, questions are up there. They will ban Tahm Kench, so they're saying, hey, Spirit, how you feeling?
Another bevy of big picks, but the Elise makes the most sense. Spirit has had so much success on the champion. He's going to lock that one in straight away. But the Tigers now, they can do it again. I want Key to play it, though. Mighty Bear did not have the best performance on the old Zac.
What are you saying?
I'm saying he probably only has about 4 games in solo queue out of 1,000.
And then he won a competitive game.
Did he?
I think so. He was part of the winning team.
I know Sangyun won a game. I don't know whether that necessarily traveled all the way over to Mighty Bear, but...
There's no asterisks on the win column, Atlas.
That's true. Look at the scoreboard at the end of the game.
You do wonder if they had banned Elise, which is one of Spirit's most played junglers, a great Elise player. Would they have still gotten Zac on red side? I can't know for sure. Now, I love this pickup. So you notice they're considering keeping the green theme of going with Zac and Thresh. And I'm not talking about it.
Your analysis may have gone a little bit downhill.
And I'm not talking about it in terms of color. I just thought it was funny. But Zac was answered by modest Thresh when KT Rolster played MVP because Flay is so good at disengaging the elastic slingshot. And if you elastic slingshot to the wrong spot, which can definitely happen when you're knocked back, then your ultimate doesn't even matter because no one's in range for the Let's Bounce kidnap effect. So it's very critical to either overshoot your ult. Undershooting your ultimate from a Flay is much more punishing. So taking the Thresh, even with the Braum and other answers available, and banning the Tahm Kench, if you remember, on the red side, gives them options here for the Zac.
Okay, but Kallista's going to be locked away here by the Afreeca Freecs. So Kramer, the second on his tier list is Kallista now. We've moved away from this Ashe and Varus meta when you're in the Afreeca camp. Most well and truly.
For this series. You know, this is the fun thing about series. They have their own meta. This one, Zac has been available 2 out of 3 games. That's a majority for the Zac.
Yeah.
Now, where will Sangyun go with his pool? Because I would actually say his best performing champion by far is the Kallista. It's 1-0 this season. It's owned it in solo queue. Has done so well on that pick. They'll just take the Renekton to try and have lane pressure in top lane. Martin will find something competitive. But Sangyun could go to some interesting spots with his pick. Will he go back to the Kog'Maw, for example, that is looking decently safe already in this particular draft? The Twitch that he looked over in the last draft is a possibility, and he could just go Ashe. So we'll see how risky the AD carry picks will get. As speaking of risk, Afreeca Freecs looking for both solo laners. Tigers have already selected their top laner. So we'll ban the Fiora, which Marin has already played multiple times this season.
And Ken and Fiora was, of course, the last couple of bans last time around as well. Keeping it pretty standard here. Making sure that Marin can't get too many of his power picks.
Of the champions he's played, Gragas is the only one available. Of the relevant champions he's played this season. Played Gragas in game 1, couldn't really find the most value out of it. Looking for the final ban. It will be the Taliyah. Blind pick mid laner into increasingly risky AD carry pick was probably what ROX Tigers wanted to do. Last picking AD carry makes a lot of sense in this scenario. If there's the appropriate blind pick mid laner, with Taliyah and Orianna gone, they probably just have to go for AD carry now. Sangyun has played 3 games of Xayah already this season, 1 and 2. Not as much chase potential without a Lulu support compared to the Thresh, but definitely a lot of disengage with both the ultimate from the Xayah, the Featherstorm, and also Thresh to navigate out of tough situations.
I also really love the mind games between Rend and the Featherstorm. So Sangyun, if he throws down that ultimate at a point where Kramer just flat out doesn't have the opportunity to kill him and can get to the Callista instead. It negates a lot of the damage.
Marin only had Gragas up of his effective pull for this season, so we'll go the Gragas into Renekton, which can be a decent matchup if you get some snowball going and you can build armor early. Can also be a struggle if Linderon gets big enough. Final pick is going to be the blind pick mid laner from the Afreeca Freecs. Oh. And we got Super Safe, Super Standard, and Kuro bringing back a very legacy pick for him. We've seen Crown play it, we've seen Pawn play it. Long time since we've seen Kuro jump on the Victor, but as you can see, for the longest time, he has been a veteran of this pick. Before Crown, there was Kuro when it came to one-trick Victor players. Kind of innovated in the meta next to some players in the LPL. So it was one of the trend-setting Victors, first time for the season. Over to the ROX Tigers side.
Mickey, what is this?
Mickey doesn't go for the Assassins anymore. Orianna was banned against Mickey, so somehow Mickey's already smiling.
I feel like he's like, in the way that you talk about it in reference to Peter Pan, he's grown up, you know, and it's sad. He's lost that joy of killing people and taking 1 billion damage every game, but dealing 1 billion damage every game.
If you think about what actually fit here, though, there wasn't a lot. Victor's super, super safe. You can lane a lot against him, but a lot of his comfort picks are taken away. Vatilia and Ori are both fitting of this scenario. They're taken away. And Assassin, when you have Renekton, you lose the early game. You'll never have pressure to split push, so he kind of needed something that was a bit Mr. Fix-It, and Karma is probably the most Mr. Fix-It of any mid lane champion. Safe, shields, another Songyun focus draw for the side of ROX Tigers.
Well, this time around, Marin's going to be taking the Gragas instead into the Renekton as opposed to the J4, and Spirit finally gets his hands on his Elise versus that Zac. It doesn't look like the one-sided draft from game number 2, but hopefully it looks like the same kind of fun when we finally get onto Summoner's Rift, because it was an enjoyable time, even if it wasn't necessarily the highest level of strategic League of Legends that we've witnessed in this, the wonderful league that is LCK.
And maybe that's what Game 3 will give us. It feels like we've gotten everything over 2 games, a polished 20-minute win. That's about all that's left.
Yep, I want the party bag to end this one on, ladies and gentlemen. Let's do it. Let's hop into game number 3. Okay, here we are, game number 3, swapped again. Marin and Spirit. Fans in the audience. Freecs needing all of the support that they can get after falling down in game number 2. Momentum not in their favor now. Only 3 Doran shields as well, Papa Smithy.
But 1 Zac, which is probably the biggest story. The Zac being on the Rift. Linderon is in the brush. He will find multiple people coming in.
Yeah.
His first thought is to go forward. That could be costly.
Yeah, Body Slam's going to be taken first here by Marin as well. 1 more for the stun. Gets the flash. Trades it for an exhaust from Tucson.
Yeah, the first thought of going in is, and skilling Q is what really cost him in that engage. Has to flash defensively. Will not have the same lane control in the early levels over the Gragas that you would expect with the pick. As Mickey's gone on a merry old walk.
Yeah.
Looking to get deep vision, given that they saw so many people on the top side.
Has Key there helping out as well. Songyun nowhere near his friends, but good vision to be put forward by... Oh, Mickey caught on his way back, and that... Oh, no! The Dark Passage, and Mickey's even able to get a cheeky 10 gold from a Spiderling. Advantage Tigers.
Didn't use any summoners, but forced Key to skill W level 1 and Linderon to have no flash at level 1, so still... Big advantage level 1 for the Afreeca Freecs, and with all that commotion, they're not going to let anyone get a hard leash, that's for sure.
Yep, Kuro's going to make his way over. Oh, grabs 2 of the popcorn chickens. And teleport from Mickey that he was probably going to use anyway is used in an interesting location. Marin taking a fair bit of damage. Remember, he's a top laner. And that is going to be teleport actually used. Okay, didn't see the animation. However, he makes it back to the top lane. This game's weird.
Series, I think.
Yeah.
I think we can generalize. Maybe this day. We don't know how KT versus Samsung is going to go.
Oh, that's true. And KT have given us some interesting League of Legends recently.
Put a lot of emphasis on the first part of that word for some reason.
You're ruthless today, Papa Smithy.
Don't let anything slip past.
Beautiful. Okay. Now, Tucson is going to land another
They
Witch's
know
Bite.
he doesn't have Q or E on the Thresh, so they're not scared of anything.
No. He's pretty much just a dude with a weird chain. Doesn't have a very long range. Linderung's going to get the ward down, spot Spirit, and is even more sad because he's topside, no flash for the Crocodile.
But ROX finding an invade and getting information after how bad level 1 went is actually pretty important. They get eyes on Elise when they had no flash in the top side, a W start Thresh against level 2. Getting any information should be impossible because there's so much you have to respect. So knowing where Elise is will at least relieve pressure from the bottom side, but only now at 3:15 hit level 2.
Thankfully they have made it to level 2 without actually losing anything though. Flash is still available as Mickey. Not the time to walk forward, my friend. As there's the flash, it's going to be traded. Spirit holds onto the cocoon. Wanted at max range, and now looking for the repel.
Kuro and Spirit had very little ideology share there. You saw that Kuro's first thought was to back away as Spirit was flashing in after the slow from the red buff. Kuro respecting the fact that they did not have tracking onto the Zac and the potential counter gank. Linderung's level 3, so not going to be bullying anyone out, but always concerning when you see in Game 3 a mid laner and a jungle off the same page.
Yeah. Maren? He loves free turret shots.
Do you think this series might have the most ever turret shots in a best of 3? We had a lot of turret shots taken in the last game.
Definitely in the LCK, Papa Smithy.
We spent
I've
at least
other leagues where potentially there've been more.
I felt like we spent a third of the game under turrets.
Yeah, I think we have. Oh, goodness me. Makes for excitement, I tell you that much. So far, this bottom lane most certainly in favor of the Afreeca Freecs.
Should be a pretty free laning phase for the Kalista after the level 1 hijinks. In a really good spot to just push and roam, which is kind of pretty difficult for Kalista most of the time. There's pretty good wave manipulation with the ability to Ren to accelerate the push.
Dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it. Okay, a little bit. Once again, the Afreeca Freecs showing that communication isn't their strong suit. The auto from Kramer that came out first. Mickey for some focused resolve. Incredibly aptly named ability. I'm sure you guys at home all knew that was the W, and it wasn't confusing at all.
I think Karma, like, skills bingo is one of the hardest games to play. Because those abilities, you don't hear people say mantra in a flame very much.
No. And how inspiring is a shield?
I mean, if it's inspiring someone to run fast, to kill people, pretty inspiring, I guess.
That's true.
But I agree. Skill names for Karma, not the best. Kennen has the great names.
Yeah.
Lightning Rush, Slicing Maelstrom, just beautiful.
Yeah. Even Electric Surge. Sounds pretty good.
Here's Mighty Bear.
Oh, Kuro is going to get pulled back.
That Q interaction is so strong as well. The ability to just hit the first Q and then auto a minion and get the pull in, and also extra damage.
The jerk around, as we like to call it.
PG-13.
It was PG-13 until you mentioned that it could have potentially not been PG-13.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That was a confusing way to explain it.
I'm the ratings board for this game. I give it a B+. Damn it. But an S for effort.
Papa Smithy. You can't even spell. Effort starts with Spirit. He's looking for the kill onto Mickey, but he's not going to find it. It's going to be Maren, because there's 3 people in the mid lane.
At a mid lane party, no vision on the top side. Renekton only now getting his flash back up, so not playing to where the jungle positioning was, means Mickey will be taken out. Flash still down from the earlier hijinks. Afreeca had multiple different ways to get a big lead from where the level 1 was, and I didn't expect the mid lane gank to be it, but still, gets them ahead. Bot lane already has pressure. You can see how Spirit's feeling. He's like, well, I'm going to do everything myself. He's got the Moby boots, so he's not looking to farm his jungle at all. They want to continue to snowball this game.
He's got a Dark Seal as well, Papa Smithy. Like, that is how you snowball.
He's already got 1 stack, too.
Yeah, you're going all in. That's a way to do it. See how his kill involvement goes. Not going to find any snares as Sangyun, but here's the elastic slingshot, the double knockups. The flash comes down. Takes a while for Kramer to die, but he is certainly going to do so.
Doesn't have flash.
There's teleports coming in from every member of ROX Tigers as well, as Maren had to cancel his, because he knew that 5 versus 2 was going to be a battle that he couldn't win. Good answer from the ROX Tigers.
Yeah, really good initiation from Zach. Pre-6 as well, didn't have the ultimate, got it during the creeps dying afterwards. Infernal Drake is the first spawn. So picking that up here would be a bigger win, but Thresh and Zach will not be the duo to pick up a Drake. As Kuro cheated towards the top side as Blue was spawning, and that probably meant he got some relief of pressure as Thresh and Zach were both in the same area.
Mighty Bear's going to be able to take this Raptor camp. The red is going down.
Spotted them yet.
Look at him just jangling around here.
He knows now.
There's the flash. Really good repel timing, but kidnapped! Spirit actually not going to get killed for the first little while, but Key does eventually take him down. Gravity Field comes in. There's the Dark Passage. I feel like Zach plus Thresh is an even more disgusting combination.
I think the bigger problem, though, is that Spirit saw the soul that had not been picked up by Thresh and yet still face-checked a brush. He didn't need to. Could have just gone straight back down to the safety of his Krugs and the bottom side jungle. First thought was to face-check. That thought got him killed. And now the Tigers, after so many advantages stacked by Afreeca with how bad the level 1 went for ROX Tigers, are actually up in kills.
Yeah, not up in gold just yet. But you have to feel the composition, once again, that looks pretty damn dominating towards the late game, despite the Renekton. Still a scary prospect for Afreeca Freecs.
Still very Sangyun focused, and Xayah in the late game is very, very strong. We can say that, but it feels like it's kind of less reliable than, say, Twitch or Kog'Maw when it comes to what to expect in the late game. She can definitely be kited. A lot of her damage. People are diving her, then certainly the damage comes through, but I imagine it's going to be Linderong, Mighty Bear, and Key rushing into the enemy side. Okay, now Mighty Bear has to deal with the enemies.
Yeah, there's the Flash Cocoon. Mighty Bear will get taken down to his passive, and even Koro's there to help out. Just gets himself a bit of an assist, and that is going to be Mighty Bear falling. Lauren taking 100% of the kills so far this game. He wants a better Gragas experience this time around.
It's beneficial for his lane as well, Atlas, because he'll be able to go into the Renekton and his early power.
There's the flash. Spirit wants to survive this one. That's going to be the stun, and Spirit gets himself out. Good cocoon, but Mickey still looking for it. Another focused resolve as they try and turn this one around. Kuro, it's so much trouble. Oh, God, the Death Ray into the flash, and he picks up the kill against all odds.
It's a 2-for-1 overall for the Afreeca Freecs. They still trade up. Kuro still on point with his use of the Death Ray, even though it's his first Victor game in a long time. Been pretty much madness on the Rift all 3 games and continuing in this one.
Can you almost call it a Death Fade Array? Because he, like, flashed after it? Is that too much silliness for a little while now? Oh, okay. It's really problematic for what we do here. I guess that's my fault. Is this where I need to go to the naughty corner and just have a thing? Okay, fair enough.
Wheel your chair over a little bit more.
Yeah, all right. Take it away. Take it away, Papa Smithy. I'll be over there.
Linderong's kind of feeling the same feeling, though, Atlas. He's not going to be able to approach a red buff 2-0 Gragas in the top lane. Being equal CS, as the Renekton in this matchup, is his own part of awkwardness.
J4 in the naughty corner is definitely not where you want him. Mighty Bear looking for another dive towards the bottom side of the map. Spirit's here. Hook is going to go wide.
Zach was open this game again.
He was, yeah. And we've got Honey Zach again as well. Tusa's just going to face check. Okay, he's not going to die though.
He knows that there's members rotating from mid lane. Early call coming through from Mickey this time, so wasn't baited into an engage. Infernal Drake's still on the map. Very big target on its head. Both teams have a lot of Infernal Drake scaling, but for now, neither are able to approach it. Haven't even mentioned the words Rift Herald because there's been so much action on the Rift, but Rift Herald also has not been attended to in the first 12 minutes.
Yeah. Oh, I love this aggressive build from Aaron as well. Going towards his Iceborne Gauntlet, but gets himself the Sheen. Oh, and there's the ult back. He's looking for the kill, but Dominus comes out.
No flash on Linderong.
Yep, Spirit, he's going to come up here as well as Linderong. He's going to get cocooned, and this is just going to be the kill. All too easy. And that communication problem that we were talking about in the mid lane is most certainly not there on the top side of the map. That was really well controlled by Afreeca Freecs.
And they've been roaming first. Victor was there first, which given it's against a teleport karma is actually a big factor. Now ROX are looking to answer it on the other side of the map. Not going to be a contest here, barring a fadeaway Q from Tusa.
Doesn't get the Winter's Bite steal, although I felt like this was the game where that could have been a thing. Aaron looking for first brick, as well as Kuro, who was doing a decent job taking down that turret as well.
He's on the Rift Herald as well, so more objectives on the top side. We've mentioned that even Infernal Drake gets overshadowed by how much priority teams have put on Rift Herald. Samsung the first to really pick up on that, and other teams following suit. So it has been claimed. Waiting to see which lane it's put in. Usually Marin is the one that actually picks up Rift Herald, but he was busy getting the first brick in top lane. Taking down mid lane turret is always the gold standard, but Karma and also the Zac might make it difficult.
Marin is gigantic this game. He's going to go back, grabs himself his Iceborne Gauntlet already.
And we're in the last couple of weeks of the Doran's Ring stackings as 7-12 removes the ability with the unique passive, making it very much less likely, a lot less efficiency in the build. This is the build that really popped out to me as being the strongest after all the other tank items were going down. So if you're going to build tank, Triple Doran's, Ninja Tabi, and Iceborne Gauntlet were largely untouched until the Ninja Tabi nerf came live on patch 7.11. So there's a lot of power here, and he may actually win trades against Linderung, who's still caught between items.
Yeah, and not looking like he's going to get there just yet. Walking back from base, close to his Black Cleaver. But the damage power that you have, and especially the CC from that Iceborne Gauntlet on the side of Marin, is just devastating. And all of that CDR so early as well. Okay. Mighty Bear is going to be able to lock that one down for himself as the flash stretching strike gets both of them, but no hook to come in. Kidnap is only going to get Mighty Bear to relative safety, but he gets taken down. Marin flashes forward, finds the cask onto just Sungin, but gets him to safety. That was optimistic, to say the least. As thankfully, this series is still continuing down the merry way of games 1 and 2.
Yeah, I don't know why Mighty Bear went so far in, didn't have vision, teleport was up and first to be used, and now they are down a member and having to deal with the Rift Herald, so should be mid lane turret very easily.
Yeah, good pick combo there on Key. Has to flash his way out. Sangyu taking a lot of damage. Turret falls. As there's the Fate's call, they get the knock up, but Tucson is so low. Mickey is going to fall as Kramer grabs that kill. We get another charge from the Rift Herald in amongst all of the commotion. ROX Tigers do successfully back out, but look at Marin. He's got no fear. It's just a hillbilly having a good time, Papa Smithy.
And cashed up as well. Must have been payday for this particular hillbilly.
Mm-hmm. Go buy some new overalls, I reckon.
It's true, they're looking a bit vintage and not the good kind.
Oh, maybe they are the good kind. Maybe he went back to the shop, got some vintage overalls.
We can trade them in, that's for sure. Yeah, Marin is super powerful this game, which warps how the game should be played. With Karma in the early game, should have faster push than Victor. About even now. We have items in comparison, but certainly no push advantage. But the push advantage should be there for Linderung. As you'd expect the Renekton versus Gragas matchup to go. It's gone off script. Marin's far too strong now with the Iceborne Gauntlet. Turret was down much earlier. Renekton, when he's pushing as a turret down himself, can be very powerful, as you can cause a lot of map pressure with your fast ability to clear minions. When you're just picking up minion waves when your turret is down, so much lower value on the Renekton.
And unfortunately, Sangyun has to go back for the most feels bad buy in the history of the universe, which is only Cloak of Agility.
Yeah, it's only 200 gold now for the recipe afterwards, so lets you know.
It was like when you couldn't afford a Trinity Force. Although that was only 3 gold back in the day.
Then it was 33, then it was 300. So it's gone through different versions.
But now the 300 version is where you feel real bad, just hanging out with all of the different components. But that feels awful.
Crit Cloak is just not a good feel, you know?
No.
As an item, Critical Strike by itself.
And he does have a Zeal, so I guess it is partially extended in goodness.
Goodness, you say.
Yes.
Don't run out of adjectives. We have a second series that's going to be really high.
I'm not investing anymore. But I threw out too many.
You're holding
adjectives
strats, but in this case, holding adjectives.
Yeah.
I can't wait to see what sort of Atlas I'm getting in Series 2.
Whoa. Let's not talk about it.
Okay.
There's no need to yet. Can't bait people in as Spirit. Looking to try and grab Mighty Bear, but isn't able to. They use all of their abilities to try and get him out, but overlap a few of them. As there's the Featherstorm. Sangyun going to use the flash to get himself out afterwards, and now Marin Oh, Songyun, he's super dead. It's going to be Kuro that picks up that kill, and Mara now underneath the turret just sends Mickey into the wall, but he may have gone overly aggressive to kidnap under the turret. Mara doing his favorite thing, which is taking turret shots and dancing. And he's going to definitely die. Afreeca Freecs to at least trade 2 for 1 in the end, as Key did also fall, but Linderung is playing a solo mission, PvE League of Legends, up towards the top side of the map, and takes down this, or should get a decent job done under this turret. But let's have a look at this again.
Yeah, Songyun has to flash after the Feather Storm. Doesn't get him far enough out and still dies. Got one more tick of the Chaos Storm than he expected. We didn't see this. We were focused on Marin having a turret party. The Vigil was enacted. He died on the turret. It's the Marin way.
Yeah, giggles. This game is the best.
But Linderung picking up the turret kind of means it was a 1 death extra for turret trade, so you probably take it if you're a ROX Tigers, and you do have double teleport still to make map plays.
Well, Linderung is going to go back to base. We'll see what he can actually augment his build with as Mercury Treads come in. So he's feeling a lot better now that he's at least 37 CS in the lead over Marin, even if the map plays haven't been there for the Renekton.
Songyun still needs time. You know, he really needs to hit 3 items. 2 is fine, but 3 is the real capper when you can throw in the Infinity Edge. So desperately wants to get there, and Afreeca want to keep the pace high. The moment you saw Moby Boots from Elise, you knew they were focused on the early game after smelling blood at the level 1. Largely, they've been able to correct some of the wrongs, like the disconnect between Spirit and Kuro on one of the earlier ganks. They're going to keep jacking up the pace, and it's on ROX to respond.
Mickey's clearing Sentinels towards the top side of the map. Marin possibly could get collapsed on, but this Cloud Drake will easily go over to the Afreeca Freecs. Rend, of course, very, very helpful in these situations, and I have a feeling there's going to be no 80 carry steals on the side of Songyun, because Kramer will at least have that ability in the late game when this Baron is relevant. It's going to be up in 30 seconds. It's a good way to make sure that those steals don't come down.
While Mickey has a lot of utility similar to the Galio in Game 2, it's been a lot less about Karma empowering invades from Mighty Bear or Linderung. The last to invade from Mighty Bear was pretty woeful and gave over advantages to Afreeca, so a lot more defensive stuff here. And farming up as that mid lane Karma, who's 800 gold behind someone who's going to be much more of a teamfight general as the Victor kind of be, compared to someone like an Orianna. Those two are the big teamfight generals. Karma's going to have to make the utility work, and for that to work, Songyun needs to get this build going soon.
Well, close to his Zeal item of choice. Speaking of generals, Pop Smithy, you mentioned the Victor in that particular camp, and he's got a Rylai's Crystal Scepter, so a lot of sort of early, cheap power and CC to help this pick composition work and flourish around this mid to late game.
But it also fits the identity. A comp that has an Elise with Moby Boots is the kind of comp that has a Victor with Rylai's. Yeah. Very strong as a level 2, makes the death ray and also the power transfer more relevant in the mid game, but very slot inefficient in the late game because of such low AP values when the Needlesludge Rod was cut out. So it follows the script. The script for Afreeca Freecs is power now, and they want to fight ASAP.
Well, they're going to try and get there too. It's Kramer. He's going to turn up. Dark Passage once again. Going to get Mighty Bear to safety. Death Ray secures the blue buff for Kuro. So thankfully, he's not going to be denied that one, especially without having something like a Morellonomicon in this build for at least some mana regen.
And Afreeca Freecs are so close to having 2-item spike. And when you look down the list of 2 items they're going to have, it is really intimidating. Spirit Visage and Iceborne Gauntlet, Liandry's and the Runic Echo completed, Rylai's and Perfect Hex Core. We already know about the Callista build. It's going to be very much Hurricane Blade, the Ruin King. Those 4 don't really get stronger with more items. Sure they do, but that's really the peak as well. Interrupt was there.
Yeah, Mighty Bear is hella dead. There is no way to survive in this one. And they're looking at a Baron. They just started up, and Kramer, remember, he's going to have a lot of lockdown. Teleport is coming in. They're going to commit
real hard if you're ROX, and they're taking too long.
And Marin, he can tank this for a long time. He actually moves out of the pit, just trying to disrupt this fight. That's going to be Baron falling down, and now they turn their fight onto Linderung, who jumps into the backline and will just die. Kuro is able to lock that one down. Spirit grabs the kill under Key. And ROX, they're getting flashed on by Kuro. Spirit follows it up, but doesn't quite have a cocoon just yet.
The ROX need to pull the trigger much faster. The Baron speed was going to be there, Freeca. You also can't stop the contest speed they would have with both the Rend and Smite available. You had to start the fight at 6,000 health. The moment this had happened, they were never going to be able to steal the Baron, and they're also fighting 4v5, so health bar being low on Tucson wasn't going to be a relevant factor. So they lose out in both ways after Mighty Bear is caught. And this might be a game-winning advantage over to Afreeca.
That was just exceptional frontline work as well by Tucson and Marin, both of them falling down to about 100 health each and getting themselves out. Soaking damage is certainly their job, and they did so to a plum. Smithy, utilize one of your words relatively inefficiently.
And Mighty Bear gets caught, and they don't really have items on the other members for these team fights yet, Alice. Not 3 items onto Songyun. Linderung has a Black Cleaver and a Tiamat, and is being asked to be a frontline team fighter. Certainly is not tanky to the Rend or anything like that. So Afreeca fighting one of their strongest after being gifted a catch by Mighty Bear. And now the playbook for ROX is looking pretty empty.
Yeah, and Mickey went for an emergency Luden's Echo as well because he needs immediate power.
Yep.
Songyun's going to take a hell of a lot of damage. Look at Spirit. That was just a small combo. Featherstorm comes in. Thankfully, there is also a Dark Passage to get him out immediately afterwards, but just spells the end of the turret. And with no summoner spells on Songyun, he just can't be in a position to do damage to this Afreeca roster. A hook does land, but it's onto Tucson, who probably wants to be tanking that damage.
Mighty Bear got interrupted on his initiation.
Yeah, big kidnap onto the Afreeca Freecs, though, as they're trying to take down Marin. They will do so. Key taking a lot of damage. He should fall, but the Callista's dead. Kramer's going to fall down, and ROX Tigers, they obliterate the Afreeca Freecs. That's going to be the ace. And yeah, that was a little bit of over-aggression. 0 Baron buff remaining. Let's restart the clock.
And that started with Marin getting the interrupt on the Elastic Slingshot, and yet the kidnap got Kuro, of all people. Xayah free hitting the whole fight. And you're right, the script has been thrown out, it's been ripped up. It's on fire just like game 1 and 2 were. And suddenly, ROX Tigers isn't enough to turn around the game, no. But it's a fork in the road that no one saw coming.
This is one of the fun fires, though, Pop Smithy. Not one of the ones that really hurt. One of the fires that, you know, you jump into and it teleports you into a really fun land. You know, everyone's read Harry Potter. They know what's up. And let's have a look at this fire once again.
Well, I think it was a bit of an evil bounce castle, which is a weird thing in this case. But watch here, flash into getting 2 members and kidnapping 3. Insane engage that only Zach can do. It's why him having any damage on his abilities makes him so over the top. And now there's no threat. Victor's dead. Very late in this fight, but crucially, no one is on Songyun at any point either. The item's going to start to come if they just give over gold to the side of ROX Tigers. And Afreeca kind of just move back, try to reset. That one went against them, but they are still in the lead of this game.
Yeah. So gold lead, about 4,000. They grab themselves a Mountain Drake as well against the current flow of play. Over at least the outer turret in the mid lane fell in favor of the ROX Tigers, so that outer ring is most certainly done.
It's just one of those moments now where we might see another fight where Mighty Bear has Spirit Visage, works towards the second item. The items come in, ROX wins it, and those items should never have been there, barring a big misplay by Afreeca.
Well, Tucson once again going to face check. They do get the stun onto Linderung. Really good placement of the Cocoon, but the Dark Passage is going to deny that. And Marin, he's going to turn up, but is the team close enough? Key, he's going to get Fates called on and destroyed. Kuro grabs the credit for that kill. Blue buff should be locked down here by the Afreeca Freecs at the same time.
Mighty Bear was not able to get the initiation he wanted there. They were very much running in different directions, and normalcy is resolved. Normalcy is returned to in the team fights where Kuro and the rest of Afreeca can just hit the closest target that isn't tanky enough, that doesn't have damage either to really be able to turn, and things go the way of Afreeca. So that's definitely the keep it simple solution for them.
Like this, Kuro is all in on this particular playstyle. As far as 3 early items, feeling good with the Luden's Echo now completed.
That's cool to see. Kuro is, again, one of these gods of Victor. It's kind of been a footnote. People will remember Crown as the Korean Victor, but Kuro did always have a great read on this champion, was the first to play it on the professional stage, and he's been known, he's played it enough, you know, 31 games in competitive. They put the stat out at the start of the game, that he knows how to tailor his build to the situation. This build is excellent for the current situation. But the current situation, if this is still not resolved in 20 minutes, the build doesn't fit.
No. But might have enough money to switch that one up. 11 out of 12 kill participation. Has certainly been a linchpin for this comp as Marin takes a few autos. Just looks like he doesn't care about it at all.
Infinity Edge not completed for Sungyun, but close.
Yeah, a lot of damage onto Key here as well as Kuro throws down the Chaos Storm, just zoning them away. The old zoning Chaos Storm, I like it.
Bit of free damage onto Marin, who looked for the cast, couldn't find it. They'll get a free inner turret though.
Yep, that is an empowered, a mantraed Q that you do not want to be a part of.
Baron respawns in 1 minute. We're going to be the next big fight of this game. A second Baron to Afreeca with the mid-game items, and perhaps that's enough to carry forward a victory that took so many twists and turns. This series, Atlas.
Yeah, it's been a joy. It's been an utter joy. Spirit has himself his Banshee's Veil to augment his already early game build. 6 stacks on that Dark Seal as well. Hopefully we get to see a Majia's Soul Stealer. Will certainly fit today's shenanigans quite effectively. And Kramer's got a Phantom Dancer, so 3 items on the Callista, opting out of anything like a QSS, which we often see as item number 3.
I mean, he shouldn't get hooked, and then QSS otherwise doesn't have massive value, so you can understand it, but it's also, as you say, something that can be played around. Phantom Dancer does give some tankiness while also being an offensive item, and Callista always thrived with the attack speed as one of the main stats that those Ren stacks in.
Oh my god. Papa Smithy, feel like now that Baron has just respawned, the ROX Tigers have finally got themselves to some item spikes. Rabadon's Death Cap for Mickey, as well as the Infinity Edge done for Sungyun. These are big moments for both of these champions. It's Kramer, probably not the one that wants to be playing frontline. Is Marin the split push Gragas, getting himself towards this open inhibitor on the bottom side of the map with his teleport available, of course.
It's not parity for ROX Tigers, but it's not also, it doesn't feel like a 6,500 gold lead when you look at the items. They are actually, as you say, about as good as it can be expected for a team in this position as they fish for an engage.
Standing on a ward as well. I think opting in for that sweeper would have been a little bit of a better idea before that.
Actually, only 2 sweepers on the side of ROX who have warding trinket on both their soul lanes. That's weird.
Well, in goes Mighty Bear. They want this as Kuro. He's going to throw down the Chaos Storm even though he was exhausted. Good damage coming in here from Sungyun, who's relatively safe there in the backline. Spirit wants to get over, but look at the body slam from Marin. Throws out the explosive cast and gets Sungyun out of the fight, but Linderong's able to lock down Spirit, and this fight is working for ROX Tigers. Key taking a lot of damage, but look at this here. Freecs going down so low, and Sungyun is untouched at all. Linderong gets into the backline. Key just being the hero that they're looking for, and Kramer's going to fall down. Kuro, the last relevant man standing. And those item spikes worked out beautifully for the ROX Tigers.
And it was far from an ideal fight. Sungyun was zoned from auto attacks for half of it. Every Kuro death ray looked like it would take 50% of the HP of a single member. But the re-engage can keep happening when you have hooks, when you have the elastic slingshot. And now they're looking to find a Baron as well.
Well, Kuro and Tucson, they want to go back and try and challenge for this one. Yeah. Spirit, he's up in 1 second. There is no way he's making it in here. That Mantra Inspire is going to keep them all alive and easily lock down that Baron. So the ROX Tigers, once again, find themselves with momentum in this series, and more importantly, in this, the deciding Game 3.
And just now we're getting the power of some of these picks. Zach was in vision the whole time. Didn't get a lot done. You're like, okay, got the kidnap. It's only on to Braum. This could be the fight. But no one falls. They can't even focus down the Bloblets for the longest time. Marin is now disconnected from his team. And somehow Linderong was able to occupy so much space in the front. Takes down Spirit. Now it's the 5v4. There's multiple low health members, but the rotation of abilities on the side of ROX is shorter. The hook, the elastic slingshot, having more and more shields over the time. Key did a lot of heroic work on the Thresh. Much more teamfight Thresh than you'd expect at 30 minutes. On the minimap, we actually missed the Drake being taken, but it was for Mighty Bear.
Yep, Mountain secured now, so Infernal Mountain. This ROX Tigers composition is terrifying as Marin He's going to get flayed and hooked, and there's the engage onto the bottom lane, just pins them both together, kidnaps them back into his team. Mighty Bear has discovered how to play Zac by the end of this game. As Tucson, massive damage, Chaos Storm does some work, but it's not enough, and Spirit's going to be picked. Kuro tried all the heroics that he could, but ROX were just 2 on the ball.
And when you hit everything as Zac at this power level, you win every team fight. The double knock of heads, it's like 2 of the foes in a Power Rangers episode getting just knocked into each other's head. Skull and Bunk, RIP. You get knocked in, he gets the engage, he gets the kidnap as well. And now you just get the strength of the champions. The items are there as well. This could be the game ending for ROX. They may win this series.
Oh, ROX Tigers. I mean, they've picked up some incredible champions this time around, but the last couple of fights have been certainly on their terms and beautifully orchestrated. And Mighty Bear, that engagement onto Kramer and Tucson was perfect. That was exactly why Zac is not seen in very many games at all. And before this series, I believe it was a 97% ban rate.
We'd had 2. We had 2 ever in the LCK. We had Cuz play it very early. Everyone learned to keep banning it. KT played around it with the Thresh, but remember, it was Zac and Thresh taking the same round. Thresh the easiest answer to Zac in the team fight, especially now there's 1 second to respond on the Elastic Slingshot. We get it twice in this series. The double rainbow Atlas in this particular series. People are going to look at the post-game thread, having not watched the games, and wonder how the draft happened. We watched the games and the draft and wondered how the Game 2 draft happened.
Yeah, I still don't know. So that's going to be a question unanswerable as the hook goes straight into a Banshee's Veil, and Kramer's going to get a pick onto Key, which may actually slow down the ROX Tigers. And
they're being respectful. They realize Teleport is also up. If they had tried to push that minion wave, there was lane wars for him to be taken out. Gragas still has TP options, but Baron buff recalls still available.
Okay, however, the gold is still dead even, obviously. We do have an inhibitor down. That's in the lane with no tower on the side of ROX Tigers as well.
But it's dead even gold when Afreeca invested everything into the mid game, and then you got the investment builds like Essence Reaver, Infinity Edge, and the Rapidfire Cannon. We also have Mickey going to keep people relatively unkillable, and then you just have the champion scaling of Xayah and Zac. Both of them have near infinite scaling when it comes to late game damage, other things being equal. So while Renekton may just be doing Renekton things, so far that's been enough. He's actually been somehow a more robust frontliner. There's opposite number in Marin, who had an insane lead in the early game with Iceborne Gauntlet, Triple Dorans, and Ninja Tabi very, very early.
This series has made Renekton look like a late game tank, because Marin's game 1 performance on the champion was also very similar. We have to remember that he's not, but it's also very difficult to do so with how both of these players have wielded him.
Lurang showing a lot to not be awed by the situation and be pretty reliable. Have we seen every twist and turn? We've seen so many, it feels greedy to ask for more, but still waiting for there to be one more fight to potentially end the game. Marin going back, he's got a teleport ward very deep in the top lane. Probably going to take it, he will.
Yep, he's looking for it. This is a real far back. As Tucson, he's going to be the focus of a lot of this. Featherstorm already used by Sung, and good flash gets him out of the way from Marin, and there's going to be no kidnap from Mighty Bear this time around. Kramer is still untouched, and he's able to get to the right side of Linderong as well. Mighty Bear jumps back in, but look at this, there's so many sticks in these tanks, and Kramer is going nuts jumping around. You do not want to take those inner fires, though. And no one's going to die. Papa Smithy?
Insane to see no one die in that fight. As you say, Kramer was lining it up, and I thought the triple was coming. No flash, no heal on Kramer, but a lot of summoner spells using the ROX side as well. They can walk up, though. They've got the shorter rotation cooldowns. Teleport going to come in from Mickey. It's a double TP, actually.
Yeah, Linderong going to utilize his as well. They will use it to take down this inner turret. A lot invested, though, as Spirit now hanging around over here. Does do a fair bit of damage with that volatile Spiderling, but not going to do much to Linderong. He does have a lot of magic resist. 3 items dedicated to that.
Right. Kuro's doing everything he can on the Victor, but Zac is really strong against Victor. You know, Victor does want to be basically playing Orianna-style positioning, and Zac can skip past front lines and force the Death Ray and the power transfer to use purely on a tank who is Fast reaching unkillable with the Gargoyle Stone Plate. Already complete for quite a while now. Kramer's trying to skip past and do damage, but that also is proving to be a headache.
And oh my god, Sungyun is going to be so strong. That's an Ardent Sensor now picked up for Mickey. He's gone the full utility build. And as far as eggs in the Sungyun basket, it makes a lot of sense after his Game 2 performance on the Kog'Maw, doing a billion-T damage.
A billion-T?
A billion-T damage, yes. We need a new word.
I appreciate it. I thought you were holding back the words for next series.
Oh, damn it.
Exposed.
Oh, this is awful. I was going for a billion-T as the word of the series.
It's like Umti, but no.
Yeah.
Generic scale.
There's a lot of Umtis. Imagine how kicked people would get.
Well, Mighty Bear is not spotted. He is now.
Yeah, doesn't find Kramer, but he is all on his own. Doesn't get the pullback, and the Zac, he's going to be stunned up. The gravity field was good. Bounces himself around, but he is going to go down to the passive.
Puts himself up for free.
Okay, the Root Caller. Sorry. The Blade Caller comes down as Sungyun's not going to hit anyone with his ultimate. Amazing cast to come out from Marin, and they destroy all of the cards that the ROX Tigers had with Sungyun falling. Linderon goes for free as well. And is this Afreeca Freecs' opportunity to win this game as they push another minion wave forward?
That time is so long, Atlas. I think you're right. 40 seconds on Sungyun. Mickey can wave clear, but it's going to be zoned away from the creeps, and somehow Afreeca Freecs have pulled a rabbit out of a hat on a day where the hat had unlimited rabbits.
And Mighty Bear Mighty Bear taketh away, Papa Smithy. Had some phenomenal plays. Speaking of phenomenal plays, Key with a 5-man play. And Marin, he's tanking up this turret, but the Nexus turrets are falling. Afreeca Freecs still with 5 members alive. Marin eventually falls down, but the Nexus should go as well. In goes Mighty Bear. Oh, Kramer, he's going to be taken down, but the Nexus will be dealt with. The triple kill for the Thresh as the icing on the cake.
Well, that was 3 hours of fun, Atlas. We had so much craziness go on through the course of the series, and in the end, just about Afreeca Freecs stick the land. There will be 3-2. Wonder how they got there. Same stories for ROX. I love Uv smiling, their coach.
Smiling, but also hands over face, wondering what the heck happened to this series. I'm with him. But I love it, personally. I think that was one of my favorite series of League of Legends I have ever witnessed in my entire life.
I mean, every expectation we had was countered at every moment. Everything went a different way than expected. Finally, it seemed like the ROX Tigers had all the tools. Mighty Bear, poor engage, just focused down. The rest of the team didn't use their flashes or try to commit hard on it, thinking they could disengage. But then the cask to knock him away. You could see him reaching for the lantern to keep the game going. Didn't manage to reach it. It was out of his grasp, and so was the series for the ROX Tigers, who only pick up a single game score in a loss. No match win.
Yeah, so much invested into Sungyun, the fact that he was caught out right after Mighty Bear in that last fight honestly sealed the deal, and Marin was the one that was able to utilize that. His flanking play with the Gragas, the fact that he was so far ahead in the early game certainly helped them keep themselves relevant.
But it was kind of an early game to remember, one late game moment, and then a lot of woe in the mid game for Marin. But you could say the same of Spirit in game 1 as well. So it's amazing how games can be defined by a single ultimate, whether it was a kick in game 1 or a cask in game 3 right at the death. They make the clutch play when they need to. They draw on all the experience, kind of shed their identity as having a very poor game, and still end up deciding.
Yeah, and this is one of those times where you think about the fact that League of Legends is often looked at as a statistic on a website or something like that. And this is going to look like a 2-1 victory for the Afreeca Freecs, but it was so much more than that, Papa Smithy. It was a massive journey for all of us to go on.
This is one of those movies that has like a 65% on Rotten Tomatoes, but other people are like, no, you need to watch it. Yeah. It's a special one.
It's like the Mortal Kombat movie, you know? That got like a 1 or something like that, something disgusting. But that is a cult classic.
And to some people, it's a 10, and this series was certainly, to some of our viewers, one of the best ones in recent history. So much craziness, so many highlights, a million turret shots absorbed by super tanks over the course of 3 games. And in the end, the Afreeca Freecs win.
By super tanks, as well as just Marin hanging out on his own at about level 3.
He got kidnapped in turrets so many times.
And also just walked into turrets.
That's true.
Oh, love it.
The man knows what he likes, Atlas.
Yep. And that is most certainly a I have no fear type play.
He has a sense of fashion. His fashion is getting turret shots.
Yep. And when I glanced down at the screen just there, we were just having a conversation, ladies and gentlemen, and I just thought for a second that Marin was sipping a beer. You know, it's like, I've had a good day, guys. That is, of course, a tea. That is not beer.
Then you have the other side, where ROX Tigers showed a lot and do not come away with a match win. It leaves them stranded at 1-5. As we look at the damage dealt to champions graph, and predictably, it was Kuro who, in some of these fights, was chunking out 5 members of the ROX Tigers.
Yeah, and Kuro was honestly an incredibly pivotal member of this whole game. He was the one that was trying. It was like the Sangyun of Game 2. You know, he was the one that was seriously in the zone this time around. In the mid-game, 11 out of 12 kill participation. This Victor was everywhere. And his roaming in the early game was actually phenomenal. And he will be able to pick up this MVP 6, 1, and 10, and still at 94% as all of the dust settles at the end.
And I love how you point out that roaming on Victor, which is not something he really did a lot on the ROX Tigers. He was more just clearing lanes, being aggressive, and really just allowing the rest of his team to be pressure points while he wave cleared. He was first to roam against a Karma with teleport multiple times, and to achieve that as a Victor is very smart play on the side of Kuro.
Yeah, very impressive. Sometimes the plays came to him, but this was beautiful. I mean, as far as protection that Spirit could need, it was about the only option, and
Fade away.
yeah, oh yeah, there it is. The definite fade away.
We may get some more Korean Victor highlights in our second series. Samsung will have Crown coming onto the Rift, but this was the OG. This was the OG Victor in Korea. That was Kuro. He had a great game. Still like it could have been in vain after so many fights went the way of the ROX Tigers and the scaling came in. But they just about stuck the landing as this was the final fight. Maybe it wasn't actually. There was so many in this area. It's only level 11. What am I saying?
Yeah, this is the party under the turret, Papa Smithy.
We're missing that one.
Yeah,
Zach's going to join the party.
No, don't worry. We'll get it. We'll get the very end of it.
Will we though?
His key's going to die. Oh no! Oh, that was the best bit.
Victor is again ultra comfort. Famously, Kuro has his champions he can play, tries some other ones, and it's either a Kuro champion or not a Kuro champion. The original Kuro champion was Victor. Ran around, power transfers on point, W's on point. This is that final fight that really decided the game. Mighty Bear going so deep. He had pulled it off time and time again in the bot lane very recently to this. This one didn't work, no kidnap, gave up his whole health bar and his revive for nothing. But it was all on denying the lantern here. Featherstorm came in, Skynion so close you could feel it.
Yeah.
Wasn't to be.
It was so close to being an incredible turnaround in what was a horrible engage, but did not work. Kuro is going to pick up the MVP.